Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? Or maybe you've misplaced your keys for the third time this week and thought, oh, it's just one of those days. We've all been there, haven't we? But what if those little moments aren't as harmless as they seem? What if they're trying to tell us something important about our health? That's what we're going to talk about today. 5 early warning signs of dementia that many seniors miss. And don't worry, I'm not here to scare you. My goal is to help you recognize these signs early so you can take action and stay sharp for years to come. Before we dive in, let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how life seems to move faster as we get older? One day, you're celebrating your grandchild's first birthday, and the next, they're off to college. It's almost like time speeds up on us. But while time may feel like it's slipping away, our minds don't have to. The truth is, our brains are incredible machines, capable of adapting and growing no matter our age. However, just like any other part of our body, our brains need care and attention, and that's why understanding the early signs of dementia is so important. By catching these signs early, you can make lifestyle changes, seek medical advice, or simply give yourself peace of mind. Today, we're going to explore 5 subtle yet significant signs that might indicate the early stages of dementia. These are things you might brush off as normal aging or stress, but they're worth paying attention to. Now, I want to be clear. Experiencing 1 or 2 of these signs doesn't mean you have dementia, but if you notice several of them happening more often than not, it's a good idea to talk to your doctor. So, let's start with the first sign. Memory lapses that disrupt your daily life. Memory issues are probably the most well-known symptom of dementia, but here's the thing, not all forgetfulness is created equal. Forgetting where you parked your car or struggling to remember someone's name at a party happens to everyone, regardless of age. But when memory lapses start interfering with your daily routine, that's when it becomes concerning. For example, imagine forgetting how to get home from the grocery store, even though you've taken that route hundreds of times. Or perhaps you find yourself repeatedly asking the same question because you can't recall the answer you were given just moments ago. These kinds of memory problems go beyond normal forgetfulness and could be an early red flag. Now let's talk about something else that might surprise you. Trouble finding the right words. You know that feeling when you're telling a story and the word you're looking for is just out of reach. Maybe you pause mid-sentence and say something like, you know that thingy, what do you call it? Again, this happens to all of us occasionally, but if it starts happening frequently, it could be a sign of something more serious. For instance, you might struggle to describe simple objects like calling a fork a spoon or referring to your phone as that thing I use to call people. This difficulty with language isn't just frustrating, it could also be an early indicator of cognitive decline. The key here is to pay attention to patterns. If you notice that these memory lapses or language difficulties are becoming more frequent or are starting to affect your confidence in social situations, it's worth taking note. And don't be afraid to share your concerns with someone you trust, whether it's a family member, friend, or healthcare provider. Remember, knowledge is power, and being proactive about your brain health is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Now that we've covered memory lapses and trouble finding words, let's move on to another important sign, challenges with planning or problem solving. Imagine sitting down to balance your checkbook, something you've done effortlessly for decades, and suddenly the numbers just don't make sense. Or maybe you're following a recipe you've made 100 times, but this time the steps feel confusing or overwhelming. These kinds of struggles can be incredibly frustrating, especially when they involve tasks you used to do without even thinking. When activities that require organization or critical thinking start to feel like climbing a mountain, it's a signal to pay closer attention. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Have you noticed these kinds of changes in yourself or someone you love? If so, I encourage you to keep watching, because we're just getting started. In the next segment, we'll explore 2 more warning signs that are easy to overlook, but just as important to recognize. Let's continue with the next sign: confusion about time or place. Have you ever found yourself wondering what day it is, only to realize it's not even close to what you thought? Maybe you've gone to bed thinking it's Thursday, but when you wake up, it's actually Monday. Or perhaps you've driven somewhere familiar and suddenly felt unsure about where you are or how you got there. These moments of disorientation can be unsettling, especially if they start happening more often. For many people, these experiences are brushed off as senior moments or chalked up to being tired or distracted. But when confusion about time or place becomes a recurring issue, it could be an early warning sign of dementia. Think about how we rely on our sense of time and place to navigate life. Knowing whether it's morning or evening, understanding the sequence of days, or recognizing landmarks in your neighborhood, they're all part of how we stay grounded in the world. When that grounding starts to slip, it can feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you. For example, imagine planning to meet a friend for lunch on Friday, but by the time Friday rolls around, you've completely forgotten about the plan, or worse, you're not sure what day it is at all. These kinds of lapses aren't just inconvenient. They can also make you feel disconnected from the people and routines that give your life structure. Now let's talk about another subtle but significant sign: changes in mood or personality. You might not think of this as something related to dementia, but it's actually quite common. Have you noticed that you've become more irritable or anxious lately? Or maybe you've started withdrawing from activities you used to enjoy, like spending time with friends or pursuing hobbies. These shifts in mood or behavior can be easy to overlook because they often develop gradually. You might tell yourself, "I'm just feeling a little down," or "I don't have the energy for that anymore." And while those explanations might seem reasonable, they could also be masking something deeper. For example, imagine someone who has always been outgoing and social suddenly becoming quiet and withdrawn, or someone who was once calm and patient now snapping at loved ones over small things. These changes can be difficult to recognize in ourselves, but they're often more noticeable to the people around us. If you've heard comments from family or friends like, "You seem different lately," or "Is everything okay?" it might be worth exploring further. Mood and personality changes can be influenced by a variety of factors, but when they're accompanied by other signs we've discussed, like memory lapses or confusion about time, they could point to something more serious. At this point, you might be wondering, what can I do if I notice these signs in myself or someone I care about? The good news is that being aware of these early warning signs is the first step toward taking control of your brain health. If you've recognized any of these patterns in your own life, don't panic. Instead, consider reaching out to your doctor for a conversation. They can help determine whether these changes are part of normal aging or if further evaluation is needed. There are also steps you can take on your own to support your brain health, like staying physically active, eating a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, and keeping your mind engaged with puzzles, reading, or learning new skills. Now let's wrap things up with a quick recap of what we've covered today. We talked about 5 early warning signs of dementia that many seniors miss: memory lapses that disrupt daily life, trouble finding the right words, challenges with planning or problem solving, confusion about time or place, and changes in mood or personality. Each of these signs on its own might not mean much, but together they paint a picture that's worth paying attention to. Remember, the goal isn't to scare you, it's to empower you. By recognizing these signs early, you can take proactive steps to protect your brain health and maintain your independence for as long as possible. I want to leave you with this thought. Aging is a natural part of life, but it doesn't mean you have to settle for less. Your mind is still capable of incredible things, no matter your age. So if you've noticed any of these signs in yourself or someone you love, don't hesitate to take action. Talk to your doctor, share your concerns with a trusted friend or family member, and make brain health a priority. Small changes can make a big difference, and you deserve to live your best life at every stage. Before we go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you experienced any of these signs yourself, or do you know someone who has? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. I read every single one, and your story might help someone else who's going through the same thing. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're here to provide practical advice and encouragement for living your best life after 60, and there's so much more to come. Here's to staying sharp, staying strong, and embracing every moment of life with confidence. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.